Do you ever wonder if online dating can actually work if you're an Asian guy? Online dating is such a powerful way to connect with people that you don't know across a large geography that ignoring it completely, I think, would be a detriment to your dating life. Of the clients that I've seen who are Asian, who tell me online dating doesn't work for me, the very, very common mistakes that they make are actually quite obvious and quite easy to fix. By the end of this video, my hope is that you'll have a clear understanding of how online dating works, what are some of the most common mistakes Asian guys make in online dating, and how to fix them. And I'm going to support everything I'm telling you with an experiment that we did a couple of years ago that will show you definitively what the numbers are when it comes to online dating for Asian guys. The first thing I want you to understand is that online dating is a funnel process. Just like digital marketing, just like a sales funnel, every step of the process needs to be calibrated in order for the next step of the process to work. Now on this graph you'll see here, there's kind of 6 general steps to online dating. The first is your app selection. There are certain apps that work better for Asian guys. For example, for me, Coffee Meets Bagel and Hinge work better than Tinder. And Bumble, I found, doesn't work until you crack that code of the profile picture and the proper congruent profile description. And then Bumble works really well for me. There's also an app called East Meets East. That's for dating Asian people. There are also other types of dating apps and websites that I will go into in my course that tells you how to find a good ratio. Basically play a game that's in your favor. The second part, once you have the app or the website set up, is really your first 3 pictures. A lot of guys have like, my first 5 pictures, or how do I have all these pictures of me playing soccer, doing hiking, all these things with my friends. All you really need are 3 well-taken, well-thought-out pictures and a profile description that is congruent to your pictures. That's all you need. There are guys who hack the ELO algorithm. However, number 1, you can get banned, and number 2, you don't need to do that if you have a great profile. I talk about how to take good pictures, how to edit it properly in my course, Seduce with Style. The link is in the description. But unless you get your first 3 pictures right, you are not going to see results, okay? Especially if you're not traditionally good looking. So getting those pictures right, which I talk about in my course and another style attraction video, search for style attraction triggers, you're not going to see the massive results that you hear guys talk about in online dating. A lot of guys also, once they match with people, and this is a very common problem for clients that are particularly good looking actually, they don't know how to message the girl in a way that is comfortable for her and that continues that attraction to actually go on that first date. And this is where we get into the writing game, which is how many messages should I send? When do I get off the app? And how do I get that first date? Well, the answer to this is quite long. The short version is, within 3 or 4 exchanges, you want to get off the app as soon as possible. And the reason for that is the longer you stay on the app, the more likely it is for the girl to categorize you as just another guy from Tinder. But if you can get into her phone, if you can get on her WhatsApp and leave voice notes, if you can get on her Instagram or even her texts, you become real as a person, and it's harder for her to just write you off as another guy on Tinder or Bumble or Hinge. I personally find voice notes particularly effective. You can use it in Facebook Messenger, you can use it on Instagram, you can also even use it on WhatsApp. And then a lot of guys have trouble either setting up the first date, figuring out the logistics, and then having a first date that actually is conducive to their core personality, and I work with them on that on a one-on-one basis as well. Now in the funnel, unless you have your pictures and your profile down, you won't get the results even if you swipe 200 to 300 swipes a day. At peak times, which we found are about 6 p.m. to about 7:30 p.m., the girl's local time, wherever your city is, your ROI on your swipe rates will be really low until you get your pictures down and have a profile that's congruent. A lot of guys, once they get matches, sometimes they get a lot of matches, they're not getting the matches they want, or the conversation with the matches aren't going anywhere. So this is the second funnel, which a lot of it has to do with defining the market, type of market that you want. Like some clients just like Latina girls who dance salsa, other clients like girls that are a little bit more bookwormy, other girls like girls that are a little bit more sophisticated and very feminine and touchy-feely. So all these are different markets, and there's different ways to package your profile while still being authentic to attract the type of girl that you want. The messaging game is really where a lot of leads are lost. Guys don't know how to message girls properly. They send very thoughtless messages. They don't understand what attraction and comfort feel like for the girl on the receiving side. A really good way to learn what this is like and have good message game is to create a female profile and just see the type of messages that most guys send. It would drive you crazy as well, okay? The next problem that most men have is like they don't know how to value the timing and the follow-up. They're overeager or they get mad if the girl doesn't respond. You have to understand that for a woman's inbox, she's seeing a lot of messages and she's overwhelmed. You want to make it easy for her to connect with you in her own time frame. And once you respect that, that is actually the fastest way for you as well to get her out on a date and have that real face-to-face connection. Date logistics we'll talk about in another video, but basically you want to set up a date that is low pressure, fun, and if it doesn't go well, you'll have a contingency plan. Like you can still decide to become friends or you can end the date early, right? You don't want it to be a high pressure, go to dinner, have a movie, kind of expensive date. You want a date to be casual, fun. I like taking a girl out to get desserts or get tea or perhaps even a walk in the park. In the pandemic, sometimes I'll just say, what if we did a video chat? And I've had some great video chats with girls as I'm walking in the park or sometimes on my computer just to get to know them a little bit better. I am going to share an experiment that we did. This was before the ELO algorithms really kicked in hard. The ELO algorithm basically looks at your first, I think, couple of hundred matches and it determines your attraction score based on that. And it starts showing you profiles of people that are close to your attraction score. People have hacked it by like putting in fake pictures, getting a high ELO score, and then putting in their real pictures. But if you do that, number one, you might get banned. And then number two, the people that you're matching with are just so far out of your league in terms of where your profile is at that you're not getting any dates anyway. So I highly recommend just being authentic and learning how this process works. In the experiment we did, we ran, here's the table of the results. Keem Booth was a friend of mine. He was a relatively average, good-looking white dude, a good friend of mine. And I asked him, can I borrow your pictures for an experiment? And he was like, yeah, sure, go for it. So we used like an average white guy's picture. Prince Caspian was a good-looking Asian guy who was really buff, built. I wanted to test the idea of dominance. Can a dominant Asian guy have a better result than a more feminine Asian guy like me? Alpha Wolf was me. There were pictures of me, and that was my data point. Vince Lin was an Asian model, very good-looking guy, very good pictures, and we wanted to compare that to the average Asian guy and the muscular, dominant Asian guy. Harry Goodwins is one of the top male models of the day, and he's got blonde hair, blue eyes, extremely good-looking. 99.99% of women who see him will probably find him attractive. I find him attractive. And then as a control, we put Esmeralda, which is a relatively good-looking girl. And she's this beautiful brunette girl. Any guy would find her pretty attractive. So we created these 6 profiles, and we swiped a couple of thousand times within a week. And we waited one day to collect the results. And here are the results. So we did the number of likes, number of swipes. Then we measured the number of matches in 24 hours. We calculated conversion rate by taking the number of matches divided by the number of likes. So that basically the conversion is a number of matches based on number of swipes. Then we also counted messages received. The conditions were all the same. This is a picture. So the picture mattered, right? So the pictures were mostly normal. Obviously the modeling pictures of the models looked model-esque. The girls had regular pictures. And whether they were Asian or not. And we gave an overall score for the overall picture hotness level of the profile pic, like how attractive is it just at first glance. From this experiment, what became very, very clear to me were 2 things. Number one, as a girl, look at how many more matches she got in 24 hours compared to even the hottest guy, in the world, right? One of 828 matches at a 26% conversion rate just within the first day. I mean, probably it'll be 100% in 5 days. That is more than 12x higher than even the hottest looking guy. She received a lot of messages. We actually counted a lot more than 10, but we just didn't go through all of them. and she was, a pretty attractive girl. The second thing I noticed was that the Asian guy, even the best looking Asian guy, had about half, a little bit more than less than half of the results of the match rates of Harry Goodwin's. But what's interesting is that compared with regular guys, King Booth had a little bit better conversion rate, but not by much, not by much. About 0.12% higher conversion rate than me, okay? So what this data suggested was that, yes, being Asian makes it a little harder. Your margin of error is a little bit smaller. It just means that your pictures and your profile has to be a little bit better. The most important thing that it stuck out to me was this. It's not necessarily being Asian or not, or being good looking or not. I mean, it can be for a guy. But the overwhelming difference in online dating is that women just get bombarded by so many messages, so many matches from so many men. And so rather than being like racially biased, I think women online are just, they have a filtering problem, and they have a problem of where to pay attention to different things. And that is why when I work with my clients to really dial in to the type of girl that they want, have less pictures but good pictures, that their conversion rate goes up. And once they learn how to do messaging, right? When their message game is on point, then they start seeing this part of the funnel actually increase. And perhaps you do 20% more swipes than the average majority guy as an Asian guy. But as you swipe and your message game is strong and you can understand her and actually stand out from all the noise in the crowd and actually have a succinct message that either hits her attraction triggers or connection triggers, which I teach in my course, you will still get results, and you'll still be able to set updates along this funnel and start seeing, lead flow from online dating. So you really have to look at this scientifically, because online dating is so much like digital marketing. It's the landing page, the conversion page, the video page, the customer order page, the finalization of the order, and the delivery, right? You have to look at it scientifically in these steps. A lot of Asian guys start blaming things that don't matter, right? Look at the data. Look at the data. The data suggests that it matters a little bit. There's a little bit of a harder learning curve and a little bit of a bias, but really this is the real difference, right? 13x difference men to women. How do you stand out from the noise of every guy saying the same thing? How do you get her attention, keep her attention, start that courtship process that's fun, attractive, and comfortable for her, and then get her out on that date? Guys who give up, Asian guys in particular who give up, they blame it on their height, they blame it on their size, they blame it on the culture, the media. But really, when you look down at it, it's just a funnel, and you just have to figure out how you can win within that funnel given your natural attributes.